Hello Nidorinas and Nidorinos and welcome to Virbank City where we have the Trovita Cascade challenging the Virbank Venom. Cascade starting out with Milotic and Kingdra, two of their top 3 ranked Pokemon. Toxapex and Dragalge starting out for the Virbank Venom. Trovita Cascade desperately in need of a win, having lost their first 2 battles this season. Let us know in the comments below if you think Trovita Cascade can win today or if you think Virbank Venom will get their second win in a row. Dragalge avoids the first attack from Kingdra. Milotic, looking to strike, goes with Brian. It's going to get that stab boost being the water type, but goes for Dragalge, so it's not going to be very effective. Dragalge looking to respond the dragon poison type, goes with Bolt Beak. Now this will be super effective no matter who it hits. And it goes straight for Milotic. Big hit taking Milotic below 50%. Milotic coming in with that special defense of 125, that special attack of 100. We get a string shot from Toxapex, so trying to slow down the Trovita Cascade. Kingdra coming in with well-rounded attack, defense, special defense, all at 95. Very good averages. Dragalge coming in with 123 base defense, and Toxapex having 152 base defense and special defense of 142. Sorry, Dragalge's special defense is 123. We get a wish now for Dragalge after the opposing side have been slowed down, so even Toxapex is moving faster than Milotic and Kingdra, even with its speed at only 35, and kicks up a Sandstorm, so everyone's going to start taking damage from the Sandstorm between turns. As always, 6-on-6 Metronome battle. If we hit the 20-minute time cap, we will go into single battle overtime. Kingdra use a Night Slash, targeting Dragalge. Decent hit, almost taking Dragalge down to 50%. Milotic looking to follow up and goes with Trick or Treat. So it's going to add the Ghost type into one of the Pokemon on the field. It goes with Toxapex. So Toxapex is now obtaining the Ghost type. Won't be getting hit with any fighting or normal type attacks. Everyone taking damage from that Sandstorm. Virbank Venom currently sitting equal 8th. So they definitely want to win. They want to move up the ladder, be comfortable in the 8th. And Trovita Cascade just don't want to sit with no wins. That's a terrible statistic. Dragalge going with Doom Desire, going with Doom Desire. That move will hit one of the Pokemon in the coming turns, similar to Future Sight. And a Bulk Up from Toxapex. So it's going to lift up its attack and defense, that already impressive defense which we mentioned earlier. Simple Beam now coming from Kingdra, so it's going to give one of the Pokemon on the field going with Toxapex the simple ability. Loses its Regenerator and now just becomes simple. Milotic wants to make the most of that 100 special attack, goes with the Night Daze, but Toxapex avoids the attack. Dragalge being knocked down below 50%. Everyone again taking that damage. That's very annoying for both sides, unfortunately. No one really benefiting from that Sandstorm, but Dragalge's wish comes true and it restores most of its HP. Fantastic timing. Dragalge surprisingly fast on the field with that 44 base speed. Goes with a Freeze Dry. This is going to be super effective. Surely it's going to want to go for Kingdra, and it does. Going after that Dragon typing, and Kingdra has been eliminated with that super effective move. Kingdra, the first Pokemon taken from this battle, surprisingly. Such an impressive Pokemon. Gone already from the Trovita Cascade, and a Razor Leaf followed up by Toxapex, another super effective move, and Milotic follows Kingdra out of the battle after a critical hit. Unbelievable. Virbank Venom's lowest 2 ranked Pokemon have taken out 2 of the top 3 Pokemon in Trovita Cascade. I can not believe that. That's a perfect start for the Virbank Venom. Very strong show of force here. That's the kind of momentum that the Venom want to build throughout this season, as they are one of the lowest ranked teams in the entire league. We now have Wailord and Inteleon coming out for the Trovita Cascade. Wailord coming in with that amazing 170 HP. Inteleon coming in with the 125 special attack and that 120 speed. It wants to make the most of that speed and goes with a Pin Missile. Targeting Dragalge shouldn't be very effective, I believe. So it's not going to do a great deal of damage, and it's not very effective, only hitting twice. Wailord. Very rare that you'd see Wailord as the second quickest Pokemon on the field. Going with a Zap Cannon, targeting Dragalge. Dragalge's being chipped away at, even with those not very effective moves. And now it's been paralyzed, so hopefully it can shake that off so it can continue its offensive impressive offensive nature in this battle. Autotomi is now coming from Toxapex, so its speed will be risen. Toxapex becoming very nimble, bouncing around the field. Dragalge unfortunately can't shake the paralysis. Everyone again taking damage from that sandstorm. Barely noticeable on Wailord, just a massive Pokemon. Don't let the footage on screen deceive you. It is very large. Inteleon taking that Doom Desire, although not very effective, still doing some decent damage. Toxapex now being the quickest Pokemon on field, going from being the slowest to the quickest, goes with a Defog. I believe this should remove the Sandstorm from the field. It will also lower Wailord's evasiveness. Sorry, it doesn't take away the Sandstorm. I apologise. I am mistaken. But we get a submission from Inteleon, a fighting type move, going for Dragalge, taking it back below 50%. Dragalge wants to shake off that paralysis. Inteleon gets the recoil damage as well. Storm Throw now coming from Wailord, going again for Dragalge. And no, it does not take it even into the red, but it does get that critical hit. And for the second turn in a row, Dragalge suffers from that paralysis. Sandstorm is finally cleared, so no more damage to be taken by anybody. Toxapex surprisingly still the quickest Pokemon on field. Just an odd sight to see. But it will go with the Lash Out. And it's going to target Wailord. And decent damage, not quite taking it down to 50%, but that massive HP will save Wailord for the future. Fusion Bolt now coming from Inteleon. Definitely wants to go with Toxapex for that, right? The super effective move, but instead goes for Dragalge, and Dragalge holds on. 7 HP left with that not very effective move. Almost finishing off Dragalge. Wailord going with a Fire Pledge. It has the potential to finish off Dragalge, but instead goes for Toxapex. Not very effective though on the Water Poison. Get a Scratch now coming from Dragalge. Don't say it's doing too much damage to any Pokemon on the field, but Inteleon gets taken below 50%. So any offensive move, as always, is usually a good offensive move with those Metronomes. Toxapex now going with the Force Palm. And goes for Wailord. Get it in a decent critical hit. There you go, taking Wailord down into the red. Inteleon looking to respond for its team and goes with a Doom Desire, which we've already seen in this battle, so that will hit an opposing Pokemon in the coming turns. Wailord now going with the Fury Cutter. Looks like he's going for Toxapex. Barely does any damage though. Gets about 3 HP in there. Dragalge again for the 3rd time suffering from that paralysis. Doesn't get to take a turn. Toxapex looking to lift up its half of the field for its share of the team, and it goes with Surf, so it's going to ride that Surf. This will probably eliminate Dragalge, its own teammate, and doesn't take out any of the opposing Pokemon, but Dragalge has been eliminated by Toxapex. At this stage, you'd have to think Toxapex was rather frustrated with Dragalge continuing to be suffer from that paralysis. We get a Psycho Shift now from Inteleon, but it misses, which is fantastic for Toxapex, as that would have been super effective. We get that stored power now coming from Wailord, going for Toxapex. Doesn't do a great deal of damage. Toxapex, even with that super effective, is still above its 50%. And now we get the amazing, unbelievable, fantastic Nidoking coming in for the Virbank Venom. No bias here whatsoever. Toxapex, again, still with that speed. Nidoking coming in with that 102 attack stat. And we see a Psychic Terrain laid out onto the field. So this is going to boost Psychic attacks, which won't actually help the Virbank Venom if they suffer a Psychic attack, as they're already weak to it. Inteleon now, looking to use the Tail Whip. And targets Toxapex, lowering its defense quite harshly. Actually, targeting both opposing Pokemon, so both Nidoking and Toxapex have their defense lowered. Nidoking looking to respond, and responds with a Petal Dance. This is going to be super effective on the Water team, and targets Inteleon, knocking out the Galar starter on Nidoking's first turn. Very impressive introduction to the battle. Inteleon is eliminated. That's 3 down now for the Trovita Cascade. Wailord now looking to respond with a Scratch, but it doesn't affect Toxapex, who's still got that Ghost typing added to it earlier in the battle. Golduck now coming out for the Trovita Cascade. Golduck having no stats actually above 100, with its special attack being at 95, its best stat. Quite well rounded though. Its lowest and only stat below 80 is its defense at 78. We get a power split now coming from Toxapex, so it's gonna split it to power with Golduck. Considering Toxapex doesn't have very good attacking stats, that's not the worst move. And now we get a low sweep coming from Golduck, targeting the Poison Ground Nidoking. Not very effective though. But Nidoking's speed will be lowered. Not that Nidoking has the best speed of 85. It will be slower than Wailord now. Wailord going with Aeroblast, the signature move of the legendary Pokemon Lugia, and it will take Nidoking below 50%. Nidoking continuing with that Petal Dance almost eliminates Golduck. Nidoking does become confused due to the fatigue from the Petal Dance, but Wailord and Golduck look like they could probably take about one hit each before being eliminated from this battle, so good start by Nidoking and Toxapex. Retaliate now, coming from Toxapex. It's not going to do a great deal of damage, but it can still eliminate, and it does eliminate Golduck. So Golduck is gone from this battle. We now only have 2 Pokemon left for the Trovita Cascade. This is not good. They're potentially about to lose their 3rd straight battle. We do see a Grass Pledge now coming from Wailord. If it goes for Nidoking, and it does, it'll be super effective. Sorry, it is not super effective because of Nidoking's Poison typing. Nidoking shakes off that confusion and is able to use Amnesia. Unfortunately, it won't forget that it's confused, but it will boost that lowered defense. Sorry, not the defense, it will boost that special defense. Last Pokemon now coming out for the Trovita Cascade, and it's Vaporeon. Vaporeon really needs a good showing here. The only Pokemon, obviously, with full HP having only just come onto the field. They could easily wipe out either Toxapex or Nidoking if it has the right move. And here's Vaporeon's chance. Can it make the most of its 110 special attack? Goes with Volt Switch. It won't go back into the party, but it can finish off Toxapex, and it does with that super effective move. So Toxapex has finally been taken out of the battle after being in here for around 12 minutes. Wailord now can target Nidoking, and it does with the Energy Ball. And that'll be it. Nidoking's also been eliminated, so that's 2 Pokemon in one turn taken out for the Virbank Venom. And suddenly things don't seem so bad for the Trovita Cascade. We have Crobat and Toxtricity in its low-key form coming out for the Virbank Venom. So we have 3 Pokemon left on the Venom, 2 left on the Cascade. So the Cascade aren't out of this battle yet, although if Wailord takes a hit, it will not be good. We get an Astonish now from Crobat. If it targets Wailord, you've got to think it's out. But it goes for Vaporeon. Takes a small bit of damage. Toxtricity coming in with that also, with that electric typing as well as its poison typing. So it has the potential to do massive stab damage to the water types here. Psychic Terrain does get taken off the field from the defog, and sadly Vaporeon has just flinched after that Astonish. Get a Drain Punch now coming from Wailord, which could restore some of that much needed HP, but it doesn't do a great deal of damage to Crobat, so not much will be restored for Wailord. Also in the description below we have our link to the Google Doc containing the ladder and fixture, as well as Instagram page that will give regular updates. Crobat now using Dive. If this goes for Vaporeon, you have to think it's going to have Water Absorb, so it'll get that HP restoration. We get a Struggle Bug now coming from Toxtricity. It's going to target both Pokemon on the opposing side, and it knocks out Wailord. Wailord has been taken out by Toxtricity. Vaporeon is now the last Pokemon remaining on the Trovita Cascade. So it's 1 versus 3, and Vaporeon just uses Belly Drum, so it's going to give up half of its max HP to max out its attack stat. Vaporeon only having an base attack stat of 65, so hopefully it can make the most of that. But we get that die from Crobat's going to benefit Vaporeon, absorbing some of that, almost getting it back above that 50%. Now we have Toxtricity. And it goes with a Milk Drink. We've seen Toxtricity use that in the past, but it doesn't help this time as Toxtricity's already got full HP. Magma Storm coming from Vaporeon, so a Fire-type move coming from the Water-type Pokemon, and it goes for Crobat. Crobat's going to be taking damage from that Magma Storm between moves. Crobat there taking some of that damage, and decent amount as well. Crobat having just over 50% of its HP left. Crobat being one of the quickest Pokemon in the ECL, having 130 base speed. Goes with the Shadow Claw. And a good hit on Vaporeon there, taking back some of that damage that it received from the dive earlier in the battle. But now, Toxtricity is going to ride that surf, and instantly Vaporeon gets that HP again restored, which means Crobat's going to be the only one taking damage from this surf. And that's terrible for the Trovita Cascade. Vaporeon now with a chance. Can it capitalize and potentially take out Crobat? And it won't, as it's about to use self-destruct. Vaporeon has just lost the battle for its team. I mean, incredibly, it's taken out Toxtricity and Crobat in the process. So Virbank Venom will win this battle because they still have one unknown Pokemon in the party who we're not about to find out. Which means Vaporeon has just cost its team the battle, surprisingly. Only losing by one Pokemon, but it started very impressively for Virbank Venom. Using Dragalge and Toxapex, taking out the amazing Kingdra and Milotic. That was a very impressive show of strength from the Virbank Venom. Using their, as I mentioned earlier, using their lowest 2 ranked Pokemon to take out 2 of the top 3 Pokemon for the Trovita Cascade. That surf didn't seem to benefit Virbank Venom much during this battle, being used by both Toxapex and Toxtricity to their own detriment, although you have to think with Dragalge off the field, it did allow Nidoking to come on and do some massive damage to both Golduck and Inteleon. It was also a very impressive showing on the Trovita Cascade side by Wailord. Trovita Cascade hopefully can show this kind of close battle and hopefully win next week when they host the Sandalone Swarm in Trovita City, on Trovita Island, sorry. Whereas the Virbank Venom will be travelling to Lumiose to take on the very impressive Lumiose Lightning, who have been amazing so far this season. But Vaporeon finishing it off for its own team with that self-destruct. Did get the 2 eliminations, but of no benefit to the Trovita Cascade. As always, Nidorinos, thank you so much for watching. Let us know in the comments below who you thought was best on field today. And as always, you are awesome. And I will speak to you guys next time. Bye.